Hi everyone, welcome back. We're now into the second segment of the
Massive
DiceHate.
hands.
Yeah. They do look massive.
That makes
when you
no
do
sense
that.
on the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to go back and watch episode 6 to get these jokes.
Yeah.
So we've just covered what we've been doing for people who are watching the YouTube, and we're now going to cover the stuff that Luke has got coming up, because I don't have any giant X-Wing events coming up, so I don't have anything to talk about. But Luke does.
So, yeah, in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to a couple of tournaments. So, on the 11th of March, I'm going to a bolt action tournament, and that's the one you want me to talk about, right?
Yeah. I'll be back in a minute.
So depressed. I didn't even tell you I was going to do that.
Yeah.
I promised myself, as an aside quickly, I will talk about X-Wing in a second. I'd always promised myself that I wouldn't be someone that played historical war games, and now I
glasses,
do.
So you just
Yeah. Yeah. I think you'll find that wasn't used in Ally, mate. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, did you paint your tanks with the camo pattern at the correct angle?
No, there is a large debate as to what camo pattern I played Brits was used at what point, especially if you're doing desert camo, and what shade of pink you use on the tanks.
Yeah. So I was reading the Team Yankee book for the Volksarmee, for the East Germans, and the bit that made me laugh the most, because taking into account World War III didn't happen. Not real.
Taking that into account.
Yeah. It says you can paint your camo pattern onto the tanks at an angle of like 26 to 33 degrees. I'm like, nah, I'm going to paint mine at 25.5 degrees.
25.5
degrees. Fuck you, Battlefront.
Yeah. So the thing that I'm going to this bolt action tournament, and I'm using
15 mils to scale for World War II.
Yeah, I know, exactly. I'm using commandos, but I prefer red berets. So I'm painting the berets red, so they'll look like paratroopers.
It's wrong, no.
And I don't care.
You're the kind of person who would tell me that these are ultramarines, even though they're pink. They're not, man. They're not.
Yeah.
You can't call them ultramarines.
In theory, there's nothing to stop me painting my bolt action models bright pink with like green stripes and blue guns. There's still 3 colours. Like, who cares?
I think as much as I'm all for you enjoying your hobby however you like, I do think that would bother me. If you're painting commandos, if you're painting green berets, the berets should be green. If you want to paint red berets, just feel paras. So why
but the rules aren't as good for what I want to do. So
okay. So as long as we're on the same page that you want to use the commando rules because you're a janky...
I'm not janky, I'm just a power gamer.
Yeah.
I'm a wannabe power gamer. I'm not quite good enough to actually be successful at it.
It's okay. I could show... I play 15 mil for historicals because...
I try Flames of War and stuff.
Yeah. Flames of War 4.0, El Alamein. It's what you want to do, man.
Depends which El Alamein it is. Anyway, shall we...
No, that's
now that I have...
No, we've only done like 3 minutes off topic.
3 minutes on historical wargaming. Yeah. Well, let's go back to the start.
So I did play Flames of War mid-war, and I had 3 Churchills in mid-war because all my friends were taking Tigers. So I fielded 3 Churchills for the King Force Churchills. And I had to research and get the correct
one of my friends
numbers.
has a 1:52 scale Panther. Not Panther, Tiger.
Yeah.
So many different cat names, and it's the wrong scale because it should be 1:48 or whichever way around it is. I can never remember because I don't care. And then sometimes he says, "Oh, well, if it was the other scale, I get a cover save." Yeah, but it's not. So you don't.
Yeah, so go out and buy the one that's the correct scale.
Yeah. And also stop using the bigger ones to hide everything behind.
Yeah.
But there we go. Well, there we are. I can now tell. So I have a friend who listens to our podcast, and he says, "I listen because I like you, but I have no idea what you're saying." So there you go, Toph. That is 3 to 4 minutes of bolt action.
Yeah.
And historical wargamings.
It's a DiceHate podcast. It's not an X-Wing podcast.
It's not an X-Wing podcast, but I think
you can talk about bolt action as much as you like. I mean, it'll
the internet might.
Me, but
yeah, you probably bore the shit out of everyone that's listening. X-Wing is a thing, and before I go to the bolt action tournament, which I will probably lose every game, and I'm fine with that.
You do, because you're fielding green berets with pink berets.
Yeah. Well, I haven't painted 10 of them yet. I could paint them bright pink, or I've got 2 trucks to paint. I could paint them sort of NASCAR colours or something ridiculous. Maybe I will. I'm going to another regional. So we are blessed, I think you were saying, by comparison to Canada with lots of regionals. This one is nearly 3 hours away, though, which is quite far. So
yeah, that would be my closest regional that wasn't in Calgary. Would be more than that by about double.
Yeah, so it's in Stockton-on-Tees, so the northeast of the UK, near Newcastle, which will mean nothing to most people outside of the UK. In fairness, I don't even really know where it is.
You take the M6 north from Wigan, and then you go across the A66, probably, and then come around that way. Or you could go down M62 and then up. But
I'm getting picked up at 2:00 on Saturday. Yeah. So, and hopefully we can listen to the football on the way, the soccer on the way, and there'll be about 120 people there. So, and I'm probably going to take my Yavin list that I took last week. So I don't know whether that's appearing on the screen.
I can.
So
this one has
Hipster U-boats 2.0. Yeah. Bless you. So obviously this will make a lot of sense on the podcast as you can see it. But basically it is 3 jump masters, 2 with torpedoes. That's always the first question when you put them down. People, and usually the question through most of the game, which one's got torpedoes? How many torpedoes have you got left? Where are your torpedoes? So 2 with torpedoes. Both of them are plasma torpedoes. And they've all got a tiny mind link. They've all got unhinged astromechs, and one of the ones that has torpedoes has forearm, and this is more for the podcast than the video, so bear with me. And the other 2 have intelligence agent and feedback array, and so the one that isn't a torpedo boat is a bumpmaster, and that also has ion projectors.
Anti-pursuit is on the screen because Luke's bad at sending me lists.
Yeah, you should have seen the list that I nearly submitted to a regional a couple of weeks ago. So the whole point of this is to use that upgrade that nobody thought was any good when it came out, which is a tiny mind link. Apart from you, apparently, you were telling me.
Oh no, I didn't think it would be the best upgrade in the game, which is what people are trying to say it is now.
Yeah, it's not.
But it's got a massive amount of action economy, depending on how many ships you put in it.
Yeah, especially in Epic. I mean, can you imagine an 8, 10, 12 ship Epic list all with a tiny mind link?
Yeah.
You just got one Z95 at the back, doing a 1 forward and a focus every turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
I think Manaru breaks it. So I'll do a tangent just so I've got something to talk about on this episode. So there's been a lot recently on the state of the game and stuff like that. And different people have put out different opinions on different things.
Yeah.
And it always dissolves into, this needs to be nerfed, this needs to be... And the combinations that you get with Manaru is what breaks the Scum faction. And it's not inherently what is powerful on Manaru. It's what she makes other things do. So she makes Mind Link. She's the best engine, is the term I've been using for
a
Mind Link.
I saw the video.
Yeah. And you can do it with a Kato Elite Josh, you can do it with a Paylob, but Manaru just does it better because the contracted scout, the Jump Master platform's undercosted. So that tiers into Manaru being undercosted, then the ability being just great.
Yeah.
It's fine. If you take all of those shenanigans out, you end up with the list that people, well, a lot of people were saying that Mindlink's fine. It's okay. The stress is a massive handicap, and depending on what ships, I mean, if I am to the right-hand side of all of your jump masters and I stress you, I imagine that that's actually a massive handicap.
Yeah, it's a bit of a pain.
Yeah,
but at the same time, a tiny mind link then allows me to do one green move with one of them.
Yeah.
Focus. The other two might then not be able to do an action, but at least they get a focus token.
Yeah, and you could have previously banked Tagots.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that lists like this are where Mindlink was intended to be used.
Yeah.
And Manaroo just makes stuff tipped over the edge somewhat.
Yeah. So actually, there's nothing to... I think I have the points for... How many... I've never really used Manaroo. I have the points to put Manaroo in and give her a tiny mind link. I could take the Bumpmaster out, put Manaroo in, and I've still got 4 points to spend. Which maybe that's better. I don't know.
It's hard.
It's hard, and actually, my favourite ship in that list is the Bumpmaster.
So the thing you've got to remember is against a high percentage of the current lists, PS4 is still a Bumpmaster.
Yeah.
So the things that are lower PS than you are still obviously lower PS. It's not like you put in adaptability on to try and get down to 2. Well, as we were talking in the last show or the last segment, the PS1 Defender still
bumps me.
You.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I think Manaroo. If you're going Mindlink, I think Manaroo is never a wrong choice. What you'd have to give up, I don't know.
You'd have to give up feedback array or ion projector, and then it would work.
Yeah.
Is that really all the difference is?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all that. Oh, okay, I might do that. So at the weekend, I may be running Manaroo and 2 contracted scouts.
So just as a joke, or as information purposes, before we started recording this segment, I said I wasn't going to have a lot to contribute, so I was just going to sow the seeds of doubt. And job done. Ticking the box for Kris.
Job done. Yeah. Damn it, you're in my head. I don't know whether that's a better choice or not. I really like if I have to pick out of the 3 ships in the list. So let's just forget about Manor. I'm going to delete it off the squad, but let's forget about it now. I'm not getting into that.
Have you thought about if you take Manaroo and then you drop Mindlink and you take Push and then you drop the 2 scouts and take Dengar?
No, because the thing I really like about Dengaroo is that when someone turns up with Dengaroo, I'm not that guy with 3 jump masters. They're that guy because they have Dengaroo.
What about, have you thought about, so you take Manaroo, then you drop a jump master and put Fenrau in, then you drop another jump master and put
a Sarge in. Or Old Terror. Or leave it in. I've seen
Manaroo,
one of my
jump master and Fen.
That's Delatani. Sim Delapine has been doing really good stuff with that. I think he came top of the 7 and 3s at Yavin, and he would have been in the top 8. His MOV was good enough even without taking into the fact that he would have won one of those games to be in the top 8 at Yavin if he'd have gone 8 and 2. So anyway, out of those 3, the one that I like the most, the one that's my favourite, is the Bumpmaster. But having double intelligence, because it's got intelligence agent, but having double intelligence agent is amazing. And it's, whilst everyone kind of goes, oh, plasma torpedoes with 4 hits and a modified shot and all this nonsense, the best card in that list for me is the Intelligence Agent, because it really suits the way I play. Like I like low PS ships. I like blocking. I like screwing with people. Basically, that's like I've looked at Boshek because of when he activates. I don't think I can quite get him to work because basically you need to hit something, which doesn't work on the first round of engagement. Whereas if you do a 3 bank and a barrel roll, you're in their way. But Boshek probably won't proc. So I really like that style. So that's why I like the Bumpmaster and the second Intel Agent. The little tweaks that I've been going through my head before you started putting Manaroo in my mind. Although the last time I took your advice, I went 3 and 3 at a regional.
No, you didn't take my advice, and it wasn't advice. I told you what the list that I did well with and how I used it and why it was good. You went, "Oh, I really like that. Let's just change this and this so it doesn't work how Kris told me it works, and then blame him when it fails."
I mean, yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, sounds legit.
Yeah. So anyway, the tweaks that I've been thinking of are either dropping one of the plasmas to protons and putting Boba Fett in on the Forlom ship, which costs a point. So then I need to drop maybe one of the feedback arrays, or swapping one of the feedback arrays for EMP because I think it's funny.
It's good. EMP device is really good.
Like using the bump, like sending the Bumpmaster in, and then like hoping, like so if you're playing, I don't know, whatever you play, like, say you manage to get a range 1 or 2 out of the 3 defenders in a triple defender list. Just going, all right, I'm not going to bother attacking, but you are only moving 1 forward next turn. And or even doing something really stupid like, well, I don't know. What do you think about this? So the trouble with EMP is that you're ionized and you're going forwards. So what about slooping with your white sloop? So this requires a bit of setting up, but slooping and then barrel rolling backwards. So basically reversing into the combat.
Yeah.
Because you don't care because you've got a turret and you don't have a torpedo. Setting off the EMP. And the next turn you go forwards and then you can use your barrel roll to get back in the way.
Yeah. There's loads of different things you can do with EMP device. Especially because it's still new and people aren't used to seeing it yet. It's going to be one of those. It's a mind link. It's like, it's good. Yeah, it's a good card. Yeah. Oh my god, it's broken. Why do I keep losing to it?
Yeah.
So the list I was talking about in part 1, my scum list has got EMP on a Bumpmaster, and I used it to make I got to EMP all 4 of my opponent's ships. So it was Gamma bumps into a Jumpmaster again, anti-pursuit lasers does a damage to him. Ahsoka bumps into the back of Gamma. Rex drifts slowly forwards. Paul bumps into the side of Ahsoka. And it's like, okay, who should I mux in TLT first?
Yeah. You have 1 action between the 4 of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I don't know. Like, so the list as it is at the moment, I feel really confident
Do you want me to tell you what I'm going to do is...
You're going to put a different list up next to my face and talk about it?
Yeah, I'm going to put a different list up next to your face and talk about it, because I've just built it while we were waiting. So I have Contracted Scout with Plasma Torpedo, X-Munitions, Intel Agent, Unhinged, Mind Link, and Guidance Chips times 2. Then Manaroo with Mind Link, K4, Unhinged, and EMP device.
Okay, yeah, because your greens give you the target locks to pass them around.
Yeah, and you fly straight in the middle of everyone, even if you don't get the focus action because you bump. You did a green to get a target lock. You then get to EMP them for your attack. You've passed to
your
somebody
target
else.
lock.
Yeah.
Who fires his torpedo.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
And that's 100 points, is it?
Yeah. exactly.
Yeah.
And you still have your 2 intel agents. Manaru is 34 points, the other guys are 33.
Yeah. So how do you think that does against Paratani? And apparently Shadowcasters. Apparently double Shadowcasters is my weakness.
So EMP device really hampers Shadowcasters because they tend to fly really quickly and point in weird directions, like the board edge.
Yeah.
So, and they don't have a hard one.
Yeah.
So if you can bait someone into aggressively flying into you with Shadowcasters when you have an EMP. So that's one of the things that people will start doing with EMP device. It's like, okay, well, you've just lost the game, yeah? Because you've just moved. And now you have to move here, which means next turn you're done. And people don't see it because we weren't used to playing ion bombs, weren't used to playing Cononets. And that's why the K-Wing list does really well and different things like that. I think you get the same kind of deal where you can shut down the movement. It's only for 1 turn. So
yeah,
it depends if you lose out on the feedback arrays because you don't have them.
Which are good. Yeah. Well.
But that's the price you pay to get K4. So this one puts a lot more emphasis on those torpedoes. So it depends how often the torpedoes will win you games compared to positioning and feedback.
Yeah. See, I think positioning and feedback wins me more games.
Yeah, because better.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm not going to keep putting random lists in your head.
No, I know, but I think so. What I was about to say before you took me off on another Manaru-shaped tangent. Some people do fly Scum List without her in.
So do I. I've got a jump master that could quite easily be Manaru that isn't.
Yeah, I know. But so what I was going to say is, I'm really comfortable with this list. I'm really comfortable with 3 contracted scouts.
Yeah.
And I think that, although I couldn't give you an example, could I? So I'm just looking at my games. I think in at least one of my games, that probably allowed me to win the game. Yeah. Like, my player skill with that style of list.
The fact that you're one of those scumbags who flew 3 jump masters for so long is what gives you that advantage, is what you're trying to say. Paraphrasing.
What I'm trying to say is, I'm one of those guys who flew jump masters even when they weren't good.
Well, like upon release.
Like, no, like only a little bit after they talked about them on Nova Squadron Radio. I remember you saying you were going to buy. Did you ever buy 4?
No.
You're like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. I'm going to buy 4.
I think 4 jump masters is better than 4 shuttles.
Yeah, 4 jump masters with trick shot. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
I saw someone practicing with that at Yavin before we started. Yeah, and guys, because it's free. And the new Genius. You can put Genius on one of them.
And you can get the new Scum crew for another one. That guy who lets you swap your illicit or your cargo. He costs 0 as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, all of the 0-point upgrades.
Yeah. All of them.
Mm. Oh. So that's why I like this list, is that I'm really comfortable flying it. The Atani changes it a little bit, but at the same time, I think because the meta's moved on and jump masters aren't a thing, people are flying lists that that are weak against jump masters.
Yeah.
So it's kind of that life cycle of the meta.
Yeah.
And trying to read it.
It's good because people don't. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
No, exactly. I was talking to our intern at work, one of our apprentices at work today. I mean, he's only 18, but he had. I was referencing the life of Brian. He had no idea.
What have the Romans ever done for us?
Yeah, well, what have the Romans ever done for us?
Aqueducts. Apart from clean drinking water.
Sanitation, wine. Anyway.
Yeah. Back on topic.
Back on track.
But
I
that's
think
the thing
I think the combination of those two factors, player skill with the list, and the fact that no one expects the Spanish Inquisition, leveraged me at least one win at Yavin.
I still think, in honesty, given equal player skill, I think that you lose to a better defender player. You lose to defender players because they shouldn't be letting you fire. One, you shouldn't be firing all 4 torpedoes against them anyway. And 2, you shouldn't be getting to fire them all against the same thing.
Yeah.
Given equal skill.
Yeah.
I think. No, I suppose that's about it. Paraturn. If you've still got the feedback arrays, it's a difficult one to call for Paraturny because it depends how well you read them for the Bumpmaster to shut down some actions and take out one shot here or there. And it also depends how aggressively they are going to play Manaroo. If you get a bad Paraturny player who's going to skirt Manaroo around the table as if it was Dangaroo, it's the easiest matchup you'll ever play.
Yeah.
If you get one who's going to be aggressive and counter bump type thing, put it in so that, because if it just takes up table space, fair enough, you're still moving first, but
it's in the way,
moving into space that Manaroo is trying to occupy. So that could be difficult. But again, you've got the same strengths that they do in that you only need one action to get some actions, whereas in the one action gives them 3 actions. Sorry.
Yeah, it gives them.
One action gives you 3 actions.
3, and it gives them 4.
3 for them all having the 1 focus token. 4
oh yeah,
for
1 extra,
and then Manaroo gets those back.
Okay, yeah.
Matthew.
Yeah, I'm less. I think out of the 2 lists, I'd rather play against Paraturny.
Yeah. I think that's the easier matchup wise, but
but having said that, I've only played against it twice and only once with this list, so I'm not hot on it. I read the guy I was playing at Yavin well, so
it doesn't have it has a lot of tricks, but the tricks where it says I'm going to do this next turn. Yeah. So if you're in a position to stop it, you can read it and stop it really easily.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So there we go. So that's what I'm thinking about flying. Well, that's what I will be flying. The probable tweaks are basically EMP or proton torpedoes. And proton torpedoes to Boba Fett to rip off Lats Razzie, basically.
I could see... Yeah, depending on how much of a hassle Lats is being for you, I'd practice against Paraturny more and see how difficult you're finding it. But I think there'd be more value in EMP for one of the feedbacks. But I don't know.
Late game or early game?
That's the joy of EMP, man. Anytime. No one expects EMP device.
But if it's late game, it needs to go on the one with torpedoes. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That's where I would put it anyway.
Okay.
Because I want the feedback array you're keeping on the Bumpmaster.
Okay, yeah, I see.
Especially if you keep Ion Projector as well.
I know you're going to be there next turn, and then the turn after you're going to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where I would think about it anyway. Again, I prefer Anti-Pursuits to Ion Projector. I think we spoke about that off air anyway. But I think the reasoning being that you don't play around the guaranteed damage of Anti-Pursuits. It doesn't really affect how you play the game. But there's a potential to misplay because of expecting, I've not rolled any Ion Projectors. I'm going to get it this time. I'm due. because that's how dice work.
Yeah.
Sorry,
but so I think the counter to that is if whatever your opponent's flying gets really screwed by getting ionized, so Fen, Ryad, Vessery, if they're thinking about it, it suddenly creates a massive, threat zone. So it works both, even though they, it's not any more likely to go off because they're worried about it or not worried about it. But
no, it's a fair point, well presented. I mean, Ion in general does shut down a lot of push lists as well, because it becomes really hard to decide if you're going to push or not. Because if the Ion happens, you stay stressed, and that's 0 actions, and it's strong, but I don't know. It's not one of those upgrades I feel like you can just throw onto a list. It's got to be something that synergizes for reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
Not like Greedo, throw him on anything. It's awesome.
Or Major Rhymer.
Yeah. Oh, if only I could put Greedo on Major Rhymer. That'd be awesome.
You need to run a factionless Hanger Bay tournament around your friend's carriage.
Yeah, I've already got broken lists for that. Neither one of them involves Greedo or Major Rhymer. What was it? It was an upgrade on Dash. It was a scum card onto Dash. I can't remember which one.
Yeah,
it was good. It was Scum Crew, I think. I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else for your plans for X-Wing tournaments coming up?
That's the only one I've got at the moment. I'm hoping that some of the skill of my club mates rubs off on me, and So
you're hoping your club mates rub off on you?
Yeah, that's that's the takeaway here.
That's one for our British audience.
Yeah, great. I don't mind. It's not about winning. The whole thing, you have to be a special kind of crazy to go to big events and think, I'm going to win this one, I'm going to win this one, I'm going to win this one. Or you have to be Paul Heaver. Or who is it? Richard Sue, who basically goes around winning everything because he's that good.
He goes to a lot of... he gets to travel a lot, so he gets to go to a lot of events. I don't know.
But for me, it would be... I'd have to be a special kind of crazy. So I'm not bothered. I'd love to win it.
That's shit work, same as me.
Yeah, that was the subtext.
Terrible at the game.
That was the subtext.
If you're at that level, it's probably not that long of a stretch.
Yeah, but I would like Spangly Dice.
I would like Spangly Dice.
No, I've not got any. Yeah, well,
I didn't even have to run this regional to get my dice.
Really?
Yeah. You should have put Homing Missile on Bosk. Would have taken him all the way to a top 8.
All the way to the top 66 for a red ace card.
I still like the German red ace card.
Oh yeah, it's got some silly name, hasn't it? Asrot, yeah.
So I was talking about it with one of the girls I work with. She's German, so I wasn't just talking about Asrot with a and random girl. But and she couldn't figure it out. And it is because it would be ace red.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense unless it's like... So there is an unsaid of apparently in the German way of...
Is it to do with the way the German language is structured though? Because the German language is structured differently to English. Yeah. So
it would be the ace of red squadron.
Yeah.
Is basically how it's phrased.
So presumably, the ones from the new core set that didn't have proper names are all something blue or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
okay.
It's fun. I enjoy it. So because I'm definitely not 12 in the head.
No, not at all. So Spangly Dice is my aim, but that would be what's that? Top 8, is it?
Top 8, yeah.
Yeah. So I've never made the cut at a regional. So not only would I have to make the cut, but I'd have to win a game in the cut. So it's unlikely.
I can talk about how unsuccessful I am at Imperial Assault Regionals if you like.
Go on.
So
Do tell.
I've only ever been to 3,
Yeah.
and I've finished second at all 3. Forever a bridesmaid. Never
Ever
a
the bridesmaid. Yeah.
Sad times.
Yeah. My wife's me and my wife play Scrabble quite a lot, and usually she smashes me because she's just better with words and stuff.
You can tell by the way that you finish with and stuff. But
so the other day she got 347 in Scrabble, and I was like, that's potentially the highest you've ever got. So I was looking like, because I haven't thrown any of the pieces of paper away. So, oh no, you got 347 before. Clearly you're just getting stuck on that number. You can't get any higher.
I was trying to think back to when I used to play Scrabble and like trying to break triple figures for me.
How many points is Moose?
Oh dear.
7.
I didn't live in Canada then.
Can I? No, well, there we are.
I lived in Wigan, which is why all of my words were 3 letters involving P's and 2 vowels.
Yeah.
Pie. I made pasties for our tea the other night. Yeah. This is still being recorded, by the way. Everyone gets to enjoy the fact that I made some minced pasties. And
did you place a bet as to whether you would eat them during a sports game?
No, I did not, but that is what inspired me to. Okay. I was like, oh yeah, I've not had a Greg steak bake for a while. Other steak bakes are available.
Yeah, insert British references to food here. For those of you who don't know, there was a football match in this country, against a lower league team who weren't very good. It's really not worth explaining, but we've started, so we're going to finish. Like from a non-league team playing one of the big English clubs, and one of the newspapers let people bet on whether he would eat a pie. The reserve goalkeeper would eat a pie, and he's kind of damned if he does and damned if he doesn't, really. Yeah. So like he basically ate a pie. It was eat a pie and get caught on camera.
Yeah,
because the match was being filmed. So if he doesn't eat a pie and tells his friends he's not eating a pie and they put a bet on, he gets done for being involved in gambling.
Yeah.
If he does eat a pie and tells his friends that he's going to eat a pie and he gets caught on camera, he gets done for being. He's basically
there is the point of just not telling your friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just playing devil's advocate for a moment.
But I think they probably still would have.
Work. They do good work.
Yeah. I do feel for him though. I feel like the newspaper basically screwed him.
What team was it? Because I do know
Sutton United.
Yeah. So do you know how the story ends after he got fired?
Yeah, after he got fired, their goalkeeper got injured the next game. They didn't have a goalkeeper,
and they don't have a keeper now because they fired him.
Yeah, so their right back was in goal, and he couldn't keep the goals out.
Oh, it's not Phil Jagielka.
No, he's no. Yeah, well.
There we go. How deep into football references can we go? So that is a reference to the fact that Stephen Warnock didn't used to believe in having a substitute keeper on the bench, so he used to make Phil Jagielka practice being in goal.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, when he played for Sheffield United, so whenever the keeper got sent off or injured, Phil Jagielka would go in net. The more
it's not a bad idea because it gives you an extra substitute.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you've got someone who's half competent at being able to catch a ball.
Yeah, except that Phil Jagielka would have been one of the better defenders in the Sheffield team.
Yeah.
I suppose. So you might as well have just had it. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, there we are.
Yeah.
I can see strong potential for you cutting this bit of the podcast and video.
There's zero chance of me doing more editing. I will edit the bit where I just showed everyone all of our Skype details because I believe in some form of privacy. Not that it the number of. It's been really nice, tangent, but lots of people have been contacting me recently on my personal Facebook and adding me and talking to me about X-Wing. And they're all from all over Europe, which is awesome. You get home from work and you're like, I'll just message Kris. And it's like, guys, it's midnight, leave me alone. But I'm too nice.
You know, that's your own fault for having your phone notifications on, right?
Yeah. Well, no. So I've been chatting with different people, and there's actual conversations on the DiceHate Discord server now. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. There's like 4 people, and we talk and everything. Yeah.
Good grief. Here we are.
Yeah, it's going well. So I think I'm going to end this part, and then we'll see what happens. So I believe we're going to do another segment of Luke crying live as he gets beat. / Luke celebrating about how he's winning, depending on how it's going. Which I'm going to be nice and let Luke keep on his YouTube channel so we can build him up. Are you over 100 subscribers now?
You clearly know the answer to that if you're asking that question.
I did check.
You totally do as well, don't you? You know what? I had a slightly odd experience. I'm not going to dignify it with the response, by the way. And I think that probably speaks for itself. I help out at our church youth group, and on Friday night, one of the kids, and so my wife is the youth worker, one of the kids said to me, "Do you have a YouTube channel?" Right. And this is a 12-year-old girl. So in my head, I'm like, safeguarding. Oh dear, what's going on here? But you can't stop someone following you on YouTube, I don't think. Maybe I should check. Anyway, so she subscribed to my channel because I was like, you won't understand what it is. It's just talking about war games and nerd stuff.
Toy soldiers.
Yeah, and toy soldiers. And she was like, but what about his tabs on there? I was like, oh, she's on there which is my wife.
Yeah.
She's on there very occasionally. So she subscribed on the off chance that somewhere in the 50, 60 videos, I might do one about tabs.
Oh. That's nice.
So yeah, in fairness, there is an excellent slow-mo video on there with my in-laws and tabs. You should watch that. Maybe that's the one you should link in the show notes.
You should. Okay.
It's so much more interesting than me talking about how I got on at Beanie Games.
I've watched lots of your videos, man. I subscribe. No, we'll get you. It's because you don't do 50 million videos a week. Because you have a life. That's my problem.
Yeah, that's the response I need to come back with you on, isn't it? Yeah.
So there we go. We're going to get Luke over 100 subscribers. Tell your friends.
I've already told all of mine and none of them signed up. There we go.
Okay. You are my only friend, Luke, so, it's okay.
Yeah, thanks.
You can't subscribe to yourself, unfortunately, so you should have a look.
Yeah. I have more than one YouTube account. I've subscribed to all the other ones too.
Oh, it's okay. Safe. So we'll come back with that segment. Then we're going to get Luke back on, record a final segment where I actually get to laugh at his face / congratulate him and eat humble pie. Which one of us gets to laugh at the other one? No, I'm pretty sure that he will come back and say how well he did, and we'll share the news, and he'll show off all of his fancy dice.
Unlikely. Would like to. Unlikely.
It'll be a good showing. Hopefully the Jump Masters, if that's what you decide on, with or without Manaroo, will carry the day.
I need to go 5 and 1. 4 and 2 gets you in, but only if you have very good MOV. Yeah. So it's got to be 5 and 1 really.
Yeah.
Which I did at Nationals, but
just play the Swift, throw game 1, and play all the scrubs.
Yeah. Submarine it.
Yeah. Okay, we'll end this segment there. So.
Bye guys.